So hello everybody. I'm Dr. Evan Erickson from Liberty Ion, and I'm here today to talk about how to make a company. I just want to say some legal preamble. I'm not a lawyer, so if you think you need a lawyer, reach out to one about this. This is just some examples of things that I've gone through and what I've found to work. So I'm not a lawyer, and this is not legal advice or tax advice. I had a recent conversation with a friend who, has an idea about starting a company, doing some grants to get it funded, some technology. And he said, "Oh, I can't just apply for a grant. I got to make a company. That's really hard. I don't know what to do." It isn't hard. It's very, very easy. You make it online, 100% online in most states. He happens to live in Massachusetts. And so I'll walk through that. I've never done it before in Massachusetts. I've done in Texas and Delaware. Delaware is often the one that you do. If you do Delaware, this is for fundraising reasons. Often for technology companies, they want it to be in Delaware due to a variety of reasons that we can get into. But maybe it's because they have a special court specific for corporations, so that the lawsuits can go quickly. There's some, other reasons. There's a lot of established law around it there, but and sort of the go-to for technology companies. And if you want a C-Corp, there's different structures. That's a different conversation, but at first you can use an LLC. This is a pass-through. The difference between a corporation and an LLC is that the LLC entity is just taxed to yourself. So if you're just a single person, the easiest is just getting a sole proprietor LLC, and then it'll just go onto your taxes. If once you do fundraising, you're going to need a C-Corp. That would be the reason why you don't want to do it if you're already making money, is because a C-Corp gets taxed on the income, and then when there's a distribution, you would get taxed again as the income, and so that's called a double taxation. So in LLC, if you're already making money, is the way to go. And the thing is, you can always put a C-Corp on top of the LLC. Or put a C-Corp underneath an LLC. So it's something that you can throw on later. So I recommend just getting a sole proprietorship LLC. It's the quickest, easiest, and for tax burden, you don't have to do much. And then you can go after grants and things, and you can throw on a C-Corp and things like that. So whichever state you want to apply in, wherever you live. If you do it in Delaware and you don't live there, then you have to get a franchise, and so it can be a little bit more expensive. A franchise means that you're actually registered in another state, but you're doing business in that state. So that's what complicates it. So I would, if you're raising money, you're going to need a C-Corp. They probably will want it in Delaware, so that's a different conversation. But here it is just for making an LLC. And this one was specifically in Massachusetts because my friend is living in Massachusetts. I've never done it here, but it is basically the same process everywhere. It's not a big deal. You can deal with it all. So, you look, just do a Google search on your state, say, Massachusetts, how to form an LLC, and they'll have it on their government website, the state website, how to do it. And so the first step usually is to, you can search through the basic entities, business entities, to make sure that you don't have a name. So if the name is not already taken. So for instance, if I go in here and I do Liberty Ion and search the corporations, and it says no search records found. So then I would be okay to make a LLC in Massachusetts. So that's, what you do first. Then they talk about an operating agreement. Okay, this is, you can, an operating agreement is important when you have multiple people in the company. So this is where, once you get into that, then you'll want to most likely consult with a lawyer. But what you can do if it's just yourself, you can come up with one probably with ChatGPT. I wouldn't spend too much time on it, and unless you're going for fundraising and having multiple owners, then do your due diligence and get a proper operating agreement. There's a much larger process for that. But just to get an LLC going, you don't need to do that. What you will need to do is you need to file a certificate of organization or formation, or they call it different things in different states. So, in Massachusetts, they say certificate of organization. And so this can be done online. And most states, probably all states, you can do this online. And so you can just click on that, file online, and you'll see here. So if you have a number, you can log in. But if it's a new one, you just click here. You'll look down certificate of organization for a LLC. It's a domestic LLC. And you can say the name of the company, your address. You say the general character of the business. So you can say consulting if you want to have a consulting company. The latest date of dissolution, if specified. You don't have to specify anything because it's not specifying it for resident agent. This is if you do not live in the state, you will have to hire a resident agent. So that's someone where you can pay and they will be your legal address. And then or you can put yourself. So usually if it's just a consultant company for yourself, or if you're just going to start applying for grants for yourself, then you can do it through this. And so then you'll have to add who's a manager. If it's yourself, you put there. And then they have different addresses. So this is quick and easy. So you can often do a later effective date, so you don't need to actually form it immediately if you don't want to. I would just do immediately unless there's a reason. And then you have to write down who your name is, and you sign this. You say accept, review, you pay your $500, and wham bam, you got an LLC. So then the next step after that is actually going to be getting your EIN. So they talked about this. Beneficial ownership used to be something that they had thought about doing. They actually rescinded this, from my understanding, where you had to report who the beneficial owner was. As long as you're not a foreigner, you don't have to do that. Sometimes you registered as an LLC and you'd like to change the doing business as. So that's something where you can change name. You can actually have multiple doing business as names underneath LLCs often. So if say you have a consulting company named Liberty Ion, and then you have your Erickson Dance Studios, it's my passion, and so maybe I'll open a dance studio, right? And so then I can do that under the same LLC because it's simpler for tax purposes. Otherwise, you get a bunch of LLCs, you got to file multiple taxes. Then you can get an EIN. So this is with the IRS. It's quick and easy as well. You get this form. It's a CP 575. Once you fill it out, you click, file now, get an EIN, put down a sole proprietorship if it's just yourself, and then from there you're able to get a bank account as well for your business. And so a lot of times too, what's nice is if you're using the bank account, you often get like a bonus for Chase or wherever. So if you have some cash flow, and then depending on the state, for instance, for Massachusetts here, we've got a register your business with Mass Tax Connect. So you have to pay taxes with the your state taxes for your business, and so you'll have to get a number there. In Texas, you automatically get a filing identity. So it depends on the state. So it's $500 with Massachusetts. I believe it's $300 with Texas. So that's one reason why it's a little bit more friendly in Texas, I guess. But okay, $200. And once you have it for forever. I highly recommend it for every professional where you may take a side gig at some point. Say you work with someone to help draft a grant, for instance, like Liberty Ion does. And so reach out, if you need help with that. And say you do a few hours, you get paid, $1,000, for something. then that can go into your LLC, and then anything that's a business expense you can write off with that, and that's so it's convenient to have a basically separate out your business expenses. Then if say you go to a conference or something, you can write that off if it's helping your business, and so it's extremely beneficial to have your own LLC. And yeah, so I it's not difficult. You can do it yourself. If you want some help, I'm not a lawyer, but I can help walk you through the website. And then most likely I haven't done your state unless you're in Texas. But it's not a big deal. You can have your own company too. It's harder to make the money to make the company useful. So, but if you have a way that you think you can make some money, get an LLC and start washing out that income with you got to buy a computer, right? So that's one business expense for sure. Oh, and also that initial $500 fee for filing the LLC is a business expense. So you already got $500 that you can write off. So as always, thank you very much for listening to Liberty Ion. Please subscribe to the channel. We've got all kinds of information for our for you if you're trying to make a business, trying to reach out for grants, technology development, patent strategy, all of that. So yeah, thanks.